What's up everybody, Atticus here. So we got the beta, I haven't got my hands on it yet, but we did get confirmation on how macros are going to work. So I wanted to share with you some of the macros that I use that make leveling in PvP easier for me. Hopefully it'll help you out. First thing we can talk about is the pound Showtooltip. This is more of just a make your bars look a little bit better kind of thing. It's just going to show the tooltip for the ability whenever you mouse over it. So all you do, pound Showtooltip, heroic strike, and then start attack. Start attack is something you're probably going to want to have on almost every macro that you create for a warrior, just because when you press an ability and you don't have rage, it's not going to start your auto attack, and some CC causes your auto attack to stop if you happen to click off of them for some reason and then click back on them and you didn't right click back on them, or you didn't press T to initiate your auto attack, or you don't have enough rage. It's just going to make you stand there and look like a big idiot just with your two-hander in your hand getting smacked in the face by them. So it's almost a necessity for a lot of your abilities to just have slash start attack written right into them. And then slash cast heroic strike. This is just the normal one because there's not really anything else you want to bake into your heroic strike macro, so this is just literally just to make your heroic strike actually start your auto attack instead of you having to press it separately. And you can do the same thing for Rend, Revenge, Mortal Strike. Now, moving on to the bread and butter for warriors. Now, what I like to do is, and I kind of play it a little bit different. Some people think that you should have separate buttons for equipping separate weapons and whatnot, but I just kind of bake them into the battle stance, defensive stance. It's still a common practice, but there's arguments there that can be made from some people. So this one, I just have slash cast battle stance, slash cast equip my two-hander, and then for defensive stance, same deal, except it's got my one-hander and my shield. So what differs here is I think you have to have like super macro on private servers to make this function correctly, and if you don't, then you have to have like equips or pickup slot inventory or equip slot inventory on private servers, and I think that's how it functioned back in vanilla as well. But overall, we got some good confirmation here that this is going to be easy for you to write. Berserker Stance, same thing, but with the two-hander. Next one is Charge. So this one is, it's kind of cheap, but it's kind of not. It just makes your ability to stay on top of people better. So if they're within melee range, it's going to cast Hamstring, but if they're out of melee range, it's going to cast Charge. There's still a little bit of a dead zone, but nonetheless, this way you don't have to, like, it even frees up a spot on your bars. Like, you don't have to have Hamstring on your bars if you have it baked into your charge, just as long as you remember that Hamstring is in your charge button as well. And then of course you can do the exact same thing with Intercept. So that's two ways to make it easier for you to keep people on you, or to be on people. And Disarm. So with my Disarm, I like to have it on a button that is usually on my stance bar, which could be different. I could change it to another one, but it's just what feels right for me and what kind of like flows for me. So I have a button here that just immediately puts me into defensive stance, and then when I'm in defensive stance, I have the regular button there. So this one will just put you in defensive stance, and if you put the same one on there in your defensive stance bar, then it'll just cast Disarm as well. But nonetheless, it's just one button just to make it easier for you to just quickly go into defensive stance and keep spamming the same button to disarm them. So after that, got Shield Wall. Shield Wall is, I mean, you have to be in defensive stance to use it, and you have to have your sword and shield equipped. So it's easier to just have all that put into one button. So you just one-hander, shield, defensive stance, then Shield Wall. You might have to spam it a few times, but it's still going to make it easier than, you know, pressing your button to put your sword and shield on, then pressing defensive stance, and then pressing Shield Wall. Or if you use, you know, a regular defensive stance macro, you would still have to defensive stance, then Shield Wall. This is just a one button way to do it. And then of course you can do the exact same thing for Recklessness and Retaliation, but see, with Recklessness and Retaliation, I don't put the two-handers on there because usually when I'm using these, I'm gonna have my two-hander equipped, and if I don't have my two-hander equipped, it's probably gonna be a good reason that I'm keeping my sword and shield on and I'm using this. It's a very weird situation when that would happen, but still, it can happen, so leave it without a weapon for those, in my opinion. The next one is Overpower. That one's just going to make sure that you put it yourself in battle stance and then cast Overpower. So I keep this actually in the exact same spot on my bars in both defensive stance and Berserker Stance, and I just have this macro there. That way I don't have to like move around and press different stances all the time to move in to use abilities. I just press the one button where the ability is. Press it more than once, obviously, because it puts you in battle stance, global cooldown. Then you cast the Overpower, but still makes life a little bit easier. So after that, let's see, we got Thunderclap, same deal, battle stance, and then Sweeping Strikes, same deal, puts you in battle stance, and then Pummel, exact same thing. It's just going to put you in Berserker Stance. You can do another one of these for your Shield Bash, but not necessary. You can just have your Shield Bash set to a certain button for when you're in defensive stance. But if you want to, just put the same thing, /cast defensive stance /cast Shield Bash, but before it put, like, you know, /equip your one-hander /equip your shield. And then your Berserker Rage, same deal, Berserker Stance, Berserker Rage. But then Intimidating Shout, this one is, there's two different ones I use. I have my regular Intimidating Shout on my bars, but then I also have my this one on the bars as well, this little macro that I made. And when you're casting this one, you have to make sure that you're standing very still, because what it does is just going to cast Intimidating Shout and then immediately start casting your Heavy Runecloth Bandage, so that way you can get as many ticks out of your bandage as you could possibly get. And then Mocking Blow, same thing as that. I don't think I missed anything here. That's about it. So yeah, basically super happy about how macros are going to function. I really hope this helped you guys out. I plan on making a lot more videos to help other warriors level and whatnot throughout vanilla. If you guys could, just leave a like on the video, comment down below for me, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Till next time, stay strong, stay hungry. See ya!